I forgot. Okay, what I just said was welcome to our last book study for Successful Women Think Differently. I'm so excited for this chapter because it's so different than any other chapter on any other kind of self-development book that I've read, but yet so important. And I totally agree with her. And yet so sad because this is our last chapter in this book. And this book is so rich, so full of wisdom that if we apply it, our lives truly will be changed. So tonight and we have a hard stop because of leadership table. But I really want to dig into the last chapter about writing it down. One of my favorite verses, Habakkuk 2:2-3, write the vision down, make it plain so that he who reads it may run. I thought it was absolutely fascinating. And I've always believed in writing things down, but the scientific proof and the evidence of what it does for you when you write things down, and that 3 blessings example that she gave, I thought was so incredibly powerful. I even told my family about it last night at dinner time. And the whole point of journaling and taking time to capture your thoughts, to process them through writing down. And I love what she said, that this not only helps us develop our thoughts, but it causes us to slow down enough to develop self-control and be more intentional about life overall, which I thought was amazing and so insightful. And then I thought it was hilarious at the end when she said, have you been writing the answers down in these chapters? And me, I was like, some of them, not all of them, some of them. So I thought it was just absolutely fascinating. So the question I have, writing is a tool, and it's another tool for us. And here's the thing, all of these principles, everything that we are reading about, every book that we've read for a book study, it's only as good as we implement, right? So I'm actually, even though I hate not having book study, I know that this is God's time to not have a book study. So we're not just consuming knowledge, but we're actually implementing knowledge. And implementing, like applied knowledge, that is wisdom. Knowledge just puffs up. But there's so much I need to implement that, it takes time. Like we need to digest the food, not just eat it type thing. Okay, so in terms of this chapter, and it does take time to write, right? I mean, it does take time to journal. It does take time to filter what God is saying to you and writing these things down. So let me ask you this. It was kind of one of the questions. I kind of altered one of her questions. First of all, is writing natural for you or not? Is that something that you naturally do or not? Well, first of all, raise your hand. How many of you is it natural for? Like you're naturally a journaler, writer, you love to do that. Okay, raise your hand if you're not. It takes more work, intention, effort. Okay. So let me ask you this. In terms of our business, because she does a great job of your life overall, like what you want, writing it down. And I don't think any of us can argue with the principles of writing it down. But in terms of our business, what should we be writing down?
What we're hearing from the Lord
about
our business. If we ask, if we're intentional to ask.
Leah, do you have an example?
Hang on. Funny you asked, Michelle.
We did not plan this.
To start. These are my journals.
I
thought it was so funny, but no, Michelle's actually asking because I have been writing down a lot, and I actually don't have my current journal in here with me, but I think when we're diligent to seek the Lord and specifically ask for blueprints for our business, because my blueprint's going to look different than Michelle's, which is going to look different than Angela's, which is going to look different than Tracy's, right? Because he made us all so uniquely. He will answer, but you have to pick up the pen and you have to start writing.
Mhm. You know what? I think I agree with what you just said, but I do think the elements of our blueprint are all going to be the same. Like your
Oh.
houses may all
Yeah.
look different, but they're all going to have similar elements. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, I mean, the foundation, I think, is always going to go back to mindset, right? And then the pillars of our business, but your strengths,
Yes.
Melanie's strengths, Lox's strengths, how it all plays out is going to be how it's executed.
Yes. 100%. So, but let's just kind of get down to nitty gritty. What are the types of things besides what the Lord says? What are some examples of what are those things, those blueprints, those pieces of the puzzle that you should be writing down for your business?
Well, I guess we should be writing down our goals. I mean, just like what we would like to see happen daily, weekly, monthly.
I love that you said daily, weekly, and monthly, Melanie, because there are daily activities, weekly activities, and monthly. In fact, at our Jewel training, that was part of our Jewel training. They had these big, huge, those big wall-sized Post-it notes, and they had daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly activities for our business. So I love that. And I love that you phrase that in terms of goals, because it's important to have weekly and monthly and quarterly and yearly goals. What else? What else besides goals?
Well, things you're struggling with to do thought models through. I know I've done that recently this week. Whether if it's about whatever the negative thought is. When I wake up,
Angela, you had a negative thought?
Yes.
Okay, wait. Did all of you catch that? Angela deals with negative thoughts too. Okay. Did you catch that? We all deal with negative thoughts. I deal with negative thoughts. Angela's amazing, but she deals with them too. That's a great example, Angela. Thought model. Sorry, keep going. I just wanted to drive that home.
I mean, girl, I deal with negative thoughts every day. I just have to do something with them. But no, for real, I was having an over where it's not, we all are going to have a thought, a fleeting thought, but it's when we meditate and dwell where it becomes the sin, and that's where it will mess up and affect our business and not taking it captive. And I've caught myself having where it was more than the fleeting thought where I immediately told it what to do, and I was by the next day still thinking and feeling the same thing. And I just was like, I have to do exactly what Jessica, Heffley talks about, and like write down this whole thought model, but write it down and ask the Holy Spirit. And anyway, I've been doing that if I have those thoughts like that. And the Lord has been downloading things to me with just what asking, like she was saying. So anyway.
I love every bit of that. Listen, if Jessica Heffley, number 2 in the entire company, she's number 2 in the entire company. Okay. She's most fruitful. Like she's just, and Brittany, same thing. If these people are doing thought models every day, I think I probably need to do about 10 every hour. Right. So, but taking the time to write that down, taking the time to take our thoughts captive, and you do that by writing it down. I love that example, Angela. Anything else that comes to your mind of things we should be writing down for our business?
Well, one of the things that Brittany mentioned in her podcast is that it's important to keep our metrics. And this is something that I've always done since the beginning of my business. I personally like the weekly accountability sheet. Just print a stack off, and that way you can track your weekly activity and what that looks like. But then to be able to go back and say, okay, well, I've sent 10 business messages out this week, right? What were the results of that? And what needs to be tweaked as a result of that.
Mhm.
And I think it's important to do that because otherwise you don't know what results you're getting.
Mhm. That's exactly right. You don't know what's effective. You may know your results, but you don't know how you're getting those results. And you don't know if the activities are actually creating the results or if it's just like flipping a coin. So metrics are so important. And I realized, I mean, she asked me about my metrics and I had freely admitted that I had fallen off the bandwagon. So I'm recording everything and even like engagement, who's watching my stories, how many new reach outs, how many new contacts, how many follow-ups. Metrics are so important. Okay, I'm going to give you a little example. I'm looking over, some of you have been in my house, and over here, I wonder if I can show you. Okay. See those two, those are two glass boards. And every month I update them and I have my declaration on one of them. So affirmations, declarations, your future self. I love that she spent so much time talking about your future self and like writing that down. And it's so interesting to me because I'm also reading High Performance Habits and slowly because I'm trying to work through it. And one of the key distinctive features of a high performer is that they take time to visualize, write down and visualize their end result and their future self every single day. And they cultivate the feelings of what it's going to be like when they're there. So when you write it down, and she even talks about that, cultivating the feelings now before you get there. But visualizing yourself, and that's part of the act of the declarations, right? And Madison was talking about that on Monday night. And you guys have heard me, I've shared with you my declarations, but on my whiteboard, I'm a 6-star diamond and I'm a pipeline of God's blessings to others. But then I also have like my tree with my leaders, and I've got a spot for each of my 6 jewel legs. Now, most of you know, I don't have 6 jewel legs right now, but I've written that down. Okay, I've got spots for my 6 jewel legs, and I have right now who I think they are. I've got a list of potential joins this month. I have a list of potential business builders, so I can very easily, quickly, like my hot list, right? My level 2s that I'm trying to taproot. Spots for my goals for joining. I have written down retain 5 voice messages a day. My key drivers, like my goals, 5 business messages, 5 retention connections. What else do I have written down? My new builders, top 20%, and who do I want to help partner with me for an event? So that those things keep me focused on my highest level activities. Like I don't have to wonder, what am I supposed to be doing? I can quickly look there and get a snapshot of my whole vision. I mean, of my whole business. I've had people like take, say they want 6 joins. And so they will put 6 Post-it notes up in front of them. And as they have a join, then they'll write the name and take the Post-it off. So writing things like that down helps to anchor what you're doing. Any other examples of what we should be writing down?
Maybe our why, having our why posted somewhere visible.
I love that. And
maybe our reward of what you'll get when you do XYZ, even if it's short-term rewards.
yeah, I love that. Absolutely love it. And you know what? This goes back down to the visualization. And if you guys read the questions and filled them out, yes, I will send a picture. You know, she on page 192, some of the questions are, you know, think of the goal that is nearest and dearest to your heart. What will the accomplishment of that goal symbolize for you? How will it feel to achieve it? And then, you know, what is the number 7? What is the biggest opportunity you have right now? What do you want to see happen with this opportunity? Write about it. And she talks about in the chapter, I'm trying to remember where, she talks about the feelings that come with it and really bringing that out in your writing, not just I hit diamond or I'm a 6-star diamond, but waking up as a diamond or knowing that I was a 6-star diamond was one of the most soul satisfying feelings. Knowing that I'm stewarding what God has given me well. I have so much, I'm so humbled and overwhelmingly grateful for the lives that the Lord has allowed me to impact, the way that things have transformed for my family. Joy overflowing. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, instead of just writing down the goal, you write down, you visualize and you cultivate the emotion now and tap into that emotion now that will even help bring that vision to pass. Am I making sense? Is this making sense? Okay. I love that. Anything
In
else? Oh,
In
sorry.
that book, no, in the book, Eat the Frog, actually, that was one of the things you had to do as homework. It was a productivity, but also having you journal and write down all these things. And one of the things was a date that you want to hit or accomplish something by. You're writing this down with exactly what you said. And you're supposed to do it in the past tense sentence. So after I have hit diamond on October 15th, 2020, whatever, like, or even if you just say the year, but after I've hit diamond, this is what it felt like. And this is what I'm going to be doing. And this is the people that I'm impacting. Like, so they were saying the same thing, like in past tense, and to write all that down and put dates in and begin to just see it. Because this is all part of actively imagining and seeing it and believing it, and it changes our perspective ahead of time already. Like you're saying, like, we've got to be able to see that is possible.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And isn't that the goal of that verse? Write the vision down and make it plain so that he who reads it may run. And that changes everything. What if you had the vision written down and you cultivated those feelings of what it's like when you're a 3-star diamond? How would that affect how you show up for your IPA? How would that affect the way you're talking to potential business builders? Knowing that you're a successful 3-star diamond. You see, it changes everything. You can move forward in confidence, boldness, knowing that you're there, right? And that isn't that the essence of faith, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you cultivate that emotion now, that's faith. That is faith. All righty. Okay, we've got 9 minutes left. And we have a whole conclusion. We didn't even, so I hope you guys will take time to write, because that is so important. And this is part of the slowing down to speed up. And even in that, you're developing the tools to self-coach. She says this over and over and over again. So what I want to talk about now is the conclusion, because she goes back over each chapter, right? So here's what I would ask, since we're not doing a book study now, here's what I would ask for you guys. And this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm trying to, with High Performance Habit and with this book, focus on one chapter / one habit a month and mastering that and not going further until I have progress in that area. And if I do that, and if I have a focus for a month on one area, in a year from now, I will have mastered or had progress in 12 different areas of my life, much further than just reading a chapter and moving on, listening to a chapter while I'm emptying the dishwasher and not retaining a ding dong thing. But if I pick one of these habits for a month and focus on that for a month for my own personal development. Because here's the thing, we may not be doing a collective book study, but that doesn't leave any of us off the hook for personal growth and development. It's simply allowing you to go at your own speed and your own choice. So looking at these chapters of these habits, strength versus weaknesses, maximizing versus satisficate, I cannot say that word. Anyway, which habit do you want to focus on the most? I want to focus on all of them, but is there one that you would want to start with?
So for me, I'll go. It's cultivating positive emotions. So that is where my focus is going to be. And I just wanted to chime in. Like, part of me is like uber sad about not having book club, but the other part of me feels such freedom in that, because it's like, I know I still have accountability, because when I look at all these squares, I know I just feel the accountability still there to continue in personal growth. And that is one of the things that attracted me specifically to this team. But I'm just really encouraged by the freedom to be able to go at our own pace. So thank you for knowing the Lord's timing, Michelle, and directing us in this way.
You're welcome. Well, here's the thing. And as you guys are still growing and learning, I would invite you and ask, when you're learning something, put it in the IPA chat. Please put it in the IPA chat, because that is a great, listen, you know who the leaders are because they're adding value. And that if you're learning something that's adding value to you, you can 100% believe that somebody else needs to hear it. And the IPA chat isn't just for Angela, me, and Leah, to be talking in there. But as you're learning, share what you learn, write it down, because it's going to help solidify it with you, and you're going to be blessing other people. So, and it's a great way to keep yourself accountable. Who else? What chapter, what habit do you want to focus on for a month?
I'll go. For me, so I started journaling last year. I had always said to myself, I'm not a writer. I don't write well. All these negative limiting beliefs. And then Locks is the one that actually encouraged me to start journaling. And it has changed my life and my thought processes in a lot of ways. But I've always been very hesitant to write down dreams and visions and things like that. And I'm going to push through that and actually write them down.
I'm so proud of you, Tracy. And then you know what? Then you can write, that was terrifying, and write why. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, friend.
Who else wants to share what they're going to be working on?
I'll share. I'm with Tracy. Journaling is something that I've never really been good at. Putting my thoughts down and being consistent with that is something that I've never really been good at. But since I've been a part of this team, something that I've learned is that I can always change what I'm not good at and grow in my weaknesses and develop my strengths and get better at things. So I can improve on myself, even though I may not be good at it right now, doesn't mean I can't grow in it. And it doesn't mean that I can't make myself better or feel better in different areas that I feel weak in. I can make those strengths. I just have to apply it. And I thank you guys all for this whole opportunity to be able to do that.
I love that, Laura. 100%. Yes.
I think for me, like, I've never journaled either. And I mean, I guess there was a time during COVID that the world was shut down. So I had plenty of time. There was nowhere to be. And so during that time, I had my laptop and I could type out because my fingers could go as quick as my brain. Whereas if I'm trying to write with a pencil, it's very much like if I'm going to try to write a prayer, I literally could write 3 sentences and then boom, I'm done. Whereas if I start praying and I just, the Holy Spirit kicks in, I can pray for 30 minutes straight. Now, you know what I mean? And so it's the same way with writing. I feel like, I don't know. I just don't, in the past, I've just not been able to seem to get past the whole writing part of it. So, I mean, I
Oh.
guess if I had to sit down with a laptop, but like that, I spent like one day literally like 12 hours on the computer because I was just it was like flowing. And I've never written like that before. So I know it was Holy Spirit was just, it was just coming. But I think that I hold myself back from that because I feel like by the time I tap into the place where I'm in tune with my feelings enough to even write them or type them, like I feel like I don't have time. Like it's so much going on in life and rushing from here to there, and I have to do this and I have to do that. That even that happens in the mornings. Like if I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and have quiet time with the Lord, like I could literally be there for an hour before I even tap into a place where I feel like I'm even in touch with my feelings to even write something down. And by then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do IPA and I have to do this and I have to, it's like, so
Well,
that is
I'm
still
gonna,
my thing I struggle with.
yeah, I'm gonna stop you because it's 8:30 and we have leadership
Mhm.
tables. Here's what I would say.
Yeah.
Set timers for yourself. Because I think we could all fall into that category. And it's just a matter of like, okay, so maybe you start with 5 minutes a day, get with a laptop and type or, type or write. I think typing is fine. The idea is to get the words from your mind on a platform, whether it's digital or pen and paper, and just give yourself timers because you can. And when you just shared that when you do that, it's fruitful. So this has been such a great study, and I wish we had an hour to go over it, but I would encourage you guys, take a month for a habit and then just really dig in, because can you imagine where you will be 6 months from now if you took a month and focus on one of these habits each month? Your life will be completely transformed, not just your business, but your life. And you have that ability. You're not a tree. You can move, you can grow, you can change. So I love you, ladies. And I'm so proud of you for showing up for yourself and the Lord. Love you. See some of you on leadership table. Bye.